Okay, well, we got our our material here. This is a 6x8. You could have picked one of these up at school. Pre-cut 6x8 square. And I got my layout tools, my scratch awl and my square. And I'm going to start with these hems. And so here's my plans. Hems are a 1/4 inch. I don't know if you can see this. On my screen I can't see it, but a 1/4 inch on the hems. So I'm going to use my square to measure with. And so I usually do like a V with the scratch awl. And I'm going to, while I'm here with the measurement tool here, I'm going to do the other side. Rotate it 90 degrees. Put it on a whole number. I'm on 2 here. Mark it at a 1/4. Come over here. I'm still on a whole number because we're 6 wide here. Mark it on a 1/4. And then I'm going to use my square across the metal. And so I need to make sure, in order to use the square, I keep it tight to the edge. And I just kind of slide it up. And I'm looking at the center of the V there that I marked out at a 1/4. And I'm just going to make a full length line. But the rest of it, I'm going to lay out on this side. And so I'm going to start with these 1-inch sides, but I do need to take into account the 1/4 inch that I just marked on the other side. So, you know, a little exercise for the brain here. Nothing too tough. But coming in from the edge on a whole number, at this point, I'm gonna do a 1-inch side plus the 1/4 inch hem. So we're really looking at 1 1/4 inches. And I'm going to do the same on this side. So we're coming in 1 1/4 inches to accommodate the 1-inch side plus the 1/4 inch hem. I'm going to do the same over here. 1 1/4 inch, mark with a V. Same over here, 1 1/4 inch with a V. And then similar to the hems, I'm going to use my square here and scribe those lines. So this inside square is basically the base of the bottom. We've got these 1-inch sides, and we've got an extra added on the other side. We've got a 1/4 inch hem. So at this point, we're going to do these tabs. Tabs are going to be on the outside too, but we do need to lay those out. And those are on the short side, so this 6-inch side. So in the plans here, it's calling for a 5/8 tab. So if I place it on a whole number, I come into 5/8 and make a V. I do that on this side too. 1/2 plus an 8 makes 5/8, because 4/8 is a 1/2. Plus an 8 is 5/8. So I've got 5/8 there. And because I'm square, and I've got a square, I can simply hold it firm on the edge, similar to earlier. And I can mark a 5/8 line in this little corner for the tab, and this little corner for the tab. I should be able to flip my square over, hold it firm to the edge, find my 5/8 V that I just marked for that tab. Nice crisp line for the edge of that tab. Crisp line for the edge of that tab. And for some reason this one looks smaller, so I'm going to check that. That may not have been square. Yeah, that's only a 1/2 inch. So what happened here? I don't know, but I'm lining it up to 5/8 there. I'm going to scribe it over here, and we've just added 1/8 of an inch. So again, holding the square tight to the edge, not as easily said as done, apparently. if you notice something fishy, definitely come back and check, which I'm kind of doing now. Now I don't trust myself, so I'm checking all my measurements. And actually, I'm looking pretty decent. Okay. Well, I think at this point I need to kind of show these lines. I don't know the best light. I can see some of them, yeah, depending on how I tilt it. So again, we've got our fold lines. There. On this side, we've got our hem lines, 1/4 inch. And then also on this side, we should have our tab marks. Yeah, there's one. And so they're all there. And so I'm pretty well ready to start cutting this out. So let me gather my thoughts. Well, one of the things I like to do to make sure I don't cut things off that I need is to, take a Sharpie and kind of map out what I'm going to remove and maybe identify some things. So like the tabs are important. We don't want to cut those off. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put an X on the tabs. And then I'm going to block out areas that I know I'm going to cut off. And so right outside the tabs here, all this material, this has got to go. So we're going to just kind of quickly mark some color there so we know not to cut that off. And then as I was gathering my thoughts, I realized I do need my hems on this side. So I know I laid them out on this side for folding purposes, but as far as cutting purposes, I'm going to need them on this side too. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of quickly make some lines at 1/4 inch to represent those hems. I didn't think I needed them, but as I started realizing when I go to cut this out, I'm going to have to see them from this side. And so let's just kind of quickly lay those out. Now I'm ready to start cutting. And so using my aviation shears, kind of like a pair of scissors. We definitely want to keep them perpendicular. Sometimes people have a little angle when they're going in and they don't have very good success because it doesn't cut very well. So first thing I'm going to do is cut this red area out. And if you find you don't have a strong enough grip, sometimes placing them to support it on the bottom side is good method as far as you don't have to kind of push as hard. So again, this is what I'm cutting out, the tab. And a slight angle, which I mentioned, I think, that I wasn't going to mark because I didn't have that angle finding tool. But about 15 degrees would be good. .5/8 on that tab, about a 15-degree angle there so the corners don't bind. And again, this is a lot of times where people cut things off they wanted to save, so I guess just be sure about what you're cutting and what you want to save. Okay. So now I need to, this is the purpose of having these hem lines on this side too, because I need to know where they land. So I'm looking at cutting it right there. There's my hem, there's where it meets my tab, slight angle, And again, just looking to take this material out. If I was to try to mark this, probably would look something like slide angle. It would look something like that. And that's probably a good thing to do, is maybe take the pen and just color that in so we, again, can see what we're cutting. Half the problem sometimes is just being able to see what you're cutting. I know I marked it with the pen, but I'm also really paying attention when I cut to my scribed lines. Those are the ones that are measured. My pen line is just kind of reference. Okay, so here we go. I think the only thing left is I would really like to put a little angle in these tabs, just as I did lower. And that's so when I fold it up, it doesn't bind. And part of the problem in my prototype was it was kind of binding up in this edge when I was folding it, which didn't allow it to come to 90 degrees. So as far as an improvement, I think maybe that's a good thing to do. So again, if I was to mark it with a pen, slide angle, and basically, well, this one didn't get cut. We're looking at kind of a trapezoid shape. And slide angles meaning like, 15 degrees. I'm going to go back here first, though, because again, I see this didn't get cut in my hurrying along here. Okay, so this is the angle on the other side of the tab. And again, kind of trying to create a sort of a trapezoid shape, which will allow it to bend without binding. There we go. The only other thing I might do, but I don't think I'm gonna, but sometimes we put angles, well, I'm gonna do it, on these hems up here too. So again, for binding purposes, about 15 degrees, kind of like that, at that 1/4 inch mark. And again, when we fold this up, I tried it the first time without doing this, and again, I didn't get square corners, so I think maybe that is important. All right, so this is our shape prior to folding. And again, we have all our bend lines on this side, plus our bend lines for the hems on this side. Okay, so again, gather my thoughts and gather some tools, and we'll start to bend this up.